I have, let's say, a big amount of legendaries. I want to showcase all of them that I have and show it in game. If I don't have it, I will use the preview window. I will rake my legendary weapons, how they are designed. I will not take into account how you can acquire them. I will just rate them how they look, how I think they are fitting to Guild Wars 2 and how they, in my opinion. Of course, there are different opinions. Let me know your opinions, please. Really important here. And I will go quickly over the Oreen variants as well. I don't want to go too much into detail because there's 96 of them. I will just go very quickly over them. I will go more into detail about the very unique legendaries, okay? The first one we have here, Bifrost. So, Bifrost is, I think, a weapon that is very classic, yeah? I like the design of it. I think it feels really weird as a melee weapon. I think it feels way more as a caster weapon. I think Bifrost, for me, is a weapon that is really nice for Mesmer, for Elementalists, that kind of classes, maybe for a Guardian. But other than that, I think it feels like it's too, I don't know, it feels too like just a wooden stick and not too much as a melee weapon, I would say. For me, it's a very nice weapon. I would say it's not the highest. For me, it's a bit boring, maybe. Yeah, I agree on that. I would put Bifrost in A tier. I think for me, it's an A tier weapon. It's very nice. It looks good, but it's not the best. There are better weapons. Just my take. I know people really like it. I know people just don't like it as much. That's fine. For me, it's an A tier. Perfect fit. Yeah. Then I will go a little bit faster, just that I don't waste too much time. Then we have Bolt. I think this is not only a weapon that is very polarizing from its design, but people either love it or people hate it. I think Bolt, in my opinion, is a bit overrated. I think the sparks are cool, but the weapon design itself is boring as hell. It's just the sparks, the lightning effects. It's just the effects, the visual effects that add to it. I think actually the weapon itself looks really not that great, and it also is not really fitting to a lot of classes, in my opinion, from the design. And I think it's very unique. I think it's, for me, because of how unique it is and how it actually, the effects and stuff are. Even if I don't like him too much on most classes, I actually think it is, for me, a B tier. I think Bolt is a B tier for me because it's very unique. I don't really hate it. I don't like it too much. I have it twice, just for the Twice Told Legend back in the old day, but I don't really care too much. I think it's, for me, because of the effects, is B tier. I can see why people hate it and would put it in trash tier, maybe, but I think it still has great effects. Even if you don't like the effects, you could say the effects are really good. Just saying, yeah. Then we have the Dreamer. I actually don't have the Dreamer. That's the first one that I don't have. So we have to show it in the wardrobe. So, Dreamer. So the Dreamer is a weapon that is very, I would say, unicorn favored and that kind of stuff. So very fancy. But the most annoying part about the Dreamer is the sound. If you turn on the sound, those unicorn sounds may drive you crazy and all the people around you. So I would say this is some kind of silly weapon, but if you like it, I can see that. I don't like silly weapons in games. I want to have a real weapon. I want to have something that makes sense, that feels like it's a real weapon. So that's why I don't personally like the Dreamer. But for me, the Dreamer is higher than trash tier, actually. That's the important part. I think it still has some kind of weapon feeling, yeah. I would say for me, it's a low D tier weapon, yeah. I personally don't like it. It's a silly weapon. You could put it in trash tier, but you will see what kind of weapons I will put in there, and I think the Dreamer is actually better than that. I have to be honest. I think if you play it with sound on, it's trash. It's horrible. It makes you completely crazy, and I don't like it. Yeah, I would agree that if you can buy a legendary on TP, it diminishes a little bit of the prestige, but I think I don't want to rate it in there because a legendary itself can't change that. You know, it's just because of the generation that makes it sellable or not. So you can't really put that in there. Just saying, I agree. I think it's better to have a legendary that you put a lot of effort in and did yourself than having a legendary that you just swiped for. But that's just my take. Okay, next up, I think we have the first very, very good weapon. It's Eternity. Eternity for me is, I think, the most original weapon. It is very nice. It changes its color depending on the time of day. It has nice footsteps. It's a nice draw animation. It's very big. If you played it on an Asura, it's crazy how big it is. I think for me, easy S+ tier. It's easy S+ tier because I think it's just such an original weapon. It is crazy how well it is designed. If you look inside the greatsword, it's crazy nice. It's really cool. It's just perfect. I think it's perfect weapon for me. Maybe one of the best weapons in the game, probably, yeah, from the design perspective. And definitely one of them. I don't know. I agree with you, Snodrop Fox. There are not that many things in Guild Wars 2 that actually have any prestige, so that's true. But I'm just saying I like to have the feeling of going for a legendary that I did a journey to. We will get to that in a second when we get to the Generation 2 weapons, but I think those journeys make the weapons actually better. That's my take. I can see why people wouldn't put it S tier, but I personally really like it. I think it's such a good weapon. I really, really enjoy it. Just my take. Yeah, such a classic. Okay, then we have the shield. So for the shield, we actually have, how is it called? The legendary shield. The Flame Seeker Prophecies. For me, Flame Seeker Prophecies is a shield that is, the animation is really nice. I really like it. I think it's a very classic shield. It's very fitting as a shield. I think it has a perfect form and stuff. I think the book on it is, yeah, okay. But I think that's a shield. For me, that's a shield. You know, there will be shields on the tier list here that are not, for me, a shield. Very classic, very cool lore. I think it's fitting. For me, it's an S tier. It's an S tier weapon. I wouldn't put it as S+ tier because I think it's too little of in comparison to S+ tier, but I think it's really nice. Yeah. I personally like it. I think that's more like my favorite, you know? What would a shield look like that I really like? So I think I always take that into contrast. What a specific weapon, a perfect design of this weapon would look like. And I think a shield is something that can't be as flashy as a greatsword. So that's why I would rate it in comparison to a shield. So that's important for me. So you can see why I put it that high. Yeah. Also, the lore helps a lot to make it that high. That's true. The lore is really, really good. But then we have, is that Frenzy? I think that's Frenzy. I can't really showcase that on land either. I have it, but I can't really showcase it, so I will showcase it in the bank window again. I think that's Frenzy. Let me check. Yeah, that's Frenzy. So that's the underwater weapon. It's the harpoon gun. I think it is good. Not too crazy. I think it's, for me, it's for an underwater weapon. Yeah, it has some nice fishes around. It's underwater. I mean, what can I say? It's for me, I don't want to make a tier for it because there are only 2 in there nowadays. But I think it's decent. For me, it's just a, I don't know. It's a B tier weapon. I think it's not crazy good. It's not crazy bad. It's, I don't know. You never see it. That's the sad part. That's just it. While we are at it, we can also just do the Krydkin as well, because it's an underwater weapon. So there we go. That's also underwater. I think this one is actually better. I like this from the design. I think it's more fitting for an underwater weapon. It's not as flashy, but I think it's very fitting with those wiggly snakes and stuff. I think it's, the flashiness is missing a bit, but the weapon itself, I actually think is very fitting, very thematic for a trident. So personally, I would put it in A tier. It might be my first hot take, but I like that weapon. You never use it because you never play underwater combat, but I think I like it. I think it is very fitting. Yeah. What weapon? So I think let's continue with the Frostfang. So Frostfang is a very nice weapon. Frostfang. The Frostfang, I think, is one of the original best weapons because of the ice theme. I really like the ice theme. It's really cool. Sorry for the pun. And I think also the axe size is really good. It feels like an X. For me, that's an S tier weapon. I think I really like Frostfang. I really think it's a very good weapon. It's not the best weapon. It's not S plus tier, but I think it feels fitting. I agree. You could make an argument that it looks like a mace, but a mace and the X is always quite similar from the size, so it's always something like that. But I really like the general design, how it wields. Also, the footsteps are cool. I don't know. I think it's a really nice weapon. Yeah. For me, it's S tier. Then we have Howler. Howler is interesting. Howler, I think the weapon itself looks okay. Not too crazy. Could be some kind of normal weapon, but when you have it drawn, it's actually quite nice. It also has some kind of sound effects. And wait, let me see. You can see the wolf and stuff. I think it's a nice weapon. I would say it's not as flashy. Also, the footsteps are very hard to see. It's more like a mist behind you. It fits nicely with Warrior, Ranger, maybe Tempest. I think it's nice. I think for me, it's an A tier weapon. I wouldn't put it higher because I think it's too little of a legendary feeling to it. It feels more like it's some kind of gem store weapon at this point. But I like it. Yeah. For me, it's A tier. Yeah. Then we have Incinerator. That's my first hot take. I don't like Incinerator too much. I think Incinerator is overrated. I think it's just a flame. I personally am not a big fan of Incinerator. I think Incinerator feels like some kind of experiment gone wrong. I don't really enjoy it too much. I think it's very fitting for elementalists, but other than that, I'm not a big fan. I have to be honest. For me, Incinerator is like Bolt. It's very flashy in this design, but the weapon itself doesn't look that great. That's just my take. I know. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I would put it in B tier. The effects are great. That's why it's in B tier. But I don't like it too much. That's my take. Yeah, that's my take. Okay, then we have Juggernaut. Juggernaut is the original hammer. And I think the design of the weapon itself is quite boring. Just if you look at the weapon, that would be a D tier weapon. I think the design is not that great. It doesn't look like a real hammer. It's too small, the head, I think. And the draw animation makes up for it. I think the draw animation is really cool. And the footsteps are also quite nice. But the weapon itself, I really don't like from a design perspective. I think that's the first C tier for me. I'm not a biggest fan from the weapon itself, and the effects are not that great. Maybe it's B tier, just because I like the effects, but they are too small to make it higher. And I think the weapon itself is better from a look than, for example, maybe C, maybe B. It's hard. I would say C tier because the effects are so bad. They are really nice looking, but you don't see them in a typical combat, just because they are so small. So that's what I meant. They are nice looking, but too little. Yeah, that's why I put it there. Just my take. Okay, then we have the spear. I also have 2 spears just because I wanted to have 3 spears so that I can actually use them at all hands. This spear is actually nice. I think that's the best underwater weapon. If you hit something with it, it actually spawns sharks in underwater. It's really nice. It's fitting. It is actually fits Mesmer with the pinkish stuff. It's also fitting Guardian and that kind of stuff. I like it. I think it's a nice weapon. I think it has a crazy good effect. You can see the sharks as well when I throw it. I think the effects are really cool. The footsteps are interesting also with sharks. I think that's the best underwater weapon. For me, that's an 8. Maybe I think it's actually an S tier, low S tier. I like this weapon. It's really good. Really well designed in my opinion. Just my take. I think it's really cool. I like it. Yeah. Then we have Kutsu. Kutsu I don't have yet. I actually don't have it yet, sadly. Kutsu is the only weapon that I don't have that I would say is actually quite nice. It is for me a little bit too happy worldy and a little bit too elven style. I'm more of a dark fantasy kind of guy, but it's decent. The effects are nice. I would say it's good. it's the ranger weapon that fits perfectly to this class. All other classes feel a little bit weird with it, but I think it's very good. For me, it's an A tier. I think it's an A tier weapon. It fits. It's good. It's what a longbow looks like. It feels a little bit too positive in my opinion, but it's still a good weapon. Yeah. Then we have Meteorologicus. I can't equip it on this class, so we will go to it to another class. Let me do that later. Also the same with Minstrel. And then we have the Mood. The Mood, let's see, where is it? I don't have it. That's why it's not there. I don't have the Mood because the Mood is really like a choke weapon. I don't like it. I think this is, for me, a trash weapon. I don't like it. For me, it's the first trash weapon because I think that's too silly. This is even sillier for me from the design than the Dreamer. I don't like it. For me, that's the first trash tier weapon. I don't like it. That's why I don't have it. I can see why people would like it, but I don't really. I want to have some kind of really weapon when I hit people. I don't know. Just my take. Then we can also stick to the roleplay in Lion's Arts with Mood. Oh no, please don't. Not with me. Then we have Quip. I don't have this either. That's the same. Quip for me is exactly the same as the Mood. I think it's too silly. It's not really good looking. It's horrible. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of those silly weapons. That's why it's trash tier for me as well. Just my opinion. I don't like it. I can see why people would put it different, higher, but I don't like it. It's just my take. Yeah. Okay, then we have more weapons that I actually have. We have the Predator. Where is it? There it is. Predator. I think it's a very basic weapon from a design perspective, but it fits in contrast to Bolt and Incinerator. I think it looks really nice from the just general how a rival should look like. I think it's cool. The effects are nice as well. You have some nice glow. I think for me, Predator just works perfect. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say it's an S+ tier weapon, but I think it's an S tier weapon. I think it's, for me, it looks very much as a rival. It's really nice. It's really nice. I really like it. I think it's just fitting for a rival. I don't know. It's perfect in my opinion. I don't use it too much, sadly, because there are not that many rival specs that I actually play, but it's definitely good. Then we have the Torch. How is it called? Rotgor. Rotgor is a very fitting torch. I think the design of the torch is not too crazy, but it's fun. It has the same effect as Incinerator, but typically you don't see it that much. The footsteps you also don't see that much. I think the footsteps are really lackluster because they are just very small, but that's because of an offhand. I liked Rotgor. I think Rotgor for me is an A weapon. It's an A tier weapon. I think it's fitting for a torch. I think it's not too crazy. That's why I don't put it in S tier, but I think it's fitting. I like it. Yeah, I think, yeah. It's a little bit too much with the head and stuff, but I think it's fitting for a torch. I don't know. Don't have much more to say about it. Okay, then we have the two greatswords. Two greatswords actually are Twilight. I think Twilight is very fitting for a dark edgelord kind of theme. I think the two greatswords are very similar. They are, so to say, siblings. I really like the dark one. I also really like the light one. I think it's also very fitting. Both of them can be really fitting. This one to Guardian, the other one maybe to a Warrior. Really, really nice. I think, though, Eternity is one tier higher, just because what it can bring. So I think Twilight and Sunrise, for me, S tier weapons, just because they are really good, but they have to be a tier lower than Eternity, just because of Eternity being a little bit more, I don't know, more over the top than them. Yeah, I agree. Sunrise on a Guardian is top roleplay, and on Necro Twilight is just very fitting. I agree. This is the typical what you would do. Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's now talk about Generation 2. I will go back to Scepter and Focus when I'm swapped to the different class, okay? So now we have Astrolaria. Astrolaria is, I think, the probably best X in the game. I really like this skin. It's such a good skin. I'm not sure if it fits perfectly on an X, but it's a really, really good weapon. I think this is the best X for sure. It has a perfect fit from how it looks. That's how an X should look. And the animation and stuff is crazy good. I really like it. For me, that's an S+ tier. Of course, you have to take into account it's one of the 4 weapons that actually have a journey. So that makes it even better. Just perfect. Yeah, it's just perfect. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's true. It's not fitting on every single character because of what it fits to, but it's still a very nice weapon, in my opinion. That doesn't make it less nice, in my opinion. Then we have Chukan Champerwat. I can also not equip it here. I will show it on a different character. Then we have Eureka. Eureka is, I would say, a very nice mace. Perfect. I actually like the Eureka mace. I think how the weapon actually looks, so the general shape of it is really nice. I think the effects are also quite good, in my opinion. For me, this is actually one of the best maces out there. I really like the bot to the ground approach. It's very fitting, in my opinion. It looks like a weapon. It looks like a mace. Has some nice, it's very fitting, for example, for Condi Ref or something like that. I really like it. For me, that's an S tier, to be honest. I really like Eureka. I see why people don't like it, but I personally actually think it's really good. I actually don't read too much of the lore, so maybe you're right there. I don't know, but I really liked it. I think it's really good. I like it. Yeah. Okay, then next up, another great sword. We have Exordium. Exordium is, thanks for the follow, Constant. Thanks, and Pop Bloods. Yeah. So there it is. Exordium for me is, from the shape, a perfect greatsword. It looks a little bit like plastic, but I personally like really the amount of effects it has. It's really good on a Guardian. It looks really cool. I think it's one of the coolest greatsword out there. It has amazing effects for all the skills. The draw effects is also crazy. I would really S+ tier. I think it's also S+ tier. I think it's one of the only legendaries with that greatsword. Actually, greatsword has the most S+ tier legendaries. I have to put it like that. It's really good. It's very long. It's like a really long sword. I really like it. I think that's fitting for this. It doesn't fit every class, but I think I like it. Yeah. I don't know. That's just my take. What's then? Flames of War. I don't have this weapon. Is it called like that? Yeah, it's called like that. Flames of War. This weapon is horrible. It is probably the worst legendary in the game. It's just ugly as fuck. They memed their own memes. It's so crazy. It's so bad. It's crazy. It's trash tier on the lowest thing. That would be the last legendary I will ever make, just to complete my collection. I will never equip it on anything. It's just horrible. I don't want to look at it any longer. It's just bad. Then we have HMS Divinity. This weapon I don't have either. If you compare that to the Predator, it's just a joke. This is a meme weapon. For me, I can see why someone would like that for RP reasons, but personally, I think for a legendary, it's just a silly concept. That's why I would put it in D tier, just like the Dreamer. I think it's better than trash tier weapons just because it has some kind of effort that is put into it, but I don't like it as a weapon. That's why it's in D tier. Yeah. That's just my take here. Then, the biggest surprise, I actually don't have Ipos. I don't have the Binding of Ipos. I will get it at some point because I like it, but I think it's very, very dark edgelordy. I think it's a very nice focus. I think it's very cool. It's over the top for sure, but the weapon itself looks really cool. It's just a book, and if you equip it, you get the big hand. I really like it. I just don't have it at this point because I have already 2 foci, and I don't want to waste my money on that for now. That's the next legendary I would go for sure. But for me, I would say Yeah, maybe S plus, low S plus tier. I think the other in S plus tier are a little bit better because I like the weapon a little bit more from a base design. But the weapon itself looks really cool. Yeah, it's just my take on that. What do we have then here? Is that the claw? I think that's the claw. The claw of the Khan-Ur. I don't have that. This is, for me, one of the most boring designed legendaries from just a weapon design. It looks really weird. It's so boring. And the draw animation is also not that crazy, in my opinion. And for me, that's not a big fan. I think it's a C tier weapon for me. I think it reminded me, it looks like a Batlet from a Klingon. It's really, really weird. Yeah, I think for me it's a C tier weapon. It's really boring. I don't like it too much. Yeah. Then we have Nevermore. So Nevermore is interesting. I think Nevermore looks really good on certain classes. I think it is a little bit over the top for some classes. For me, Nevermore is a really nice weapon. It has a nice animation. It fits really well. It is very cool, the journey. So just because of that, I would say I put it in S tier, S plus tier, because it's so good from the stuff that it actually does. With the Raven and stuff, it's really good, the journey. For me, it's really, really good. I don't like it too much, for example, on a Thief, because it feels really weird to hit something with the stick, and I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But I think it's really cool on caster classes and stuff. I really like it. I don't know. And on a druid, I would say it's also nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's just my take. Then we have Pharros. So Pharros is interesting. If you want to go cheap, and you can just get Pharros by buying the Chaos Longbow. And you will have the same effect. The weapon itself looks like a bow. It's very clean. That's why I like it. I think Pharros fits so well on a Guardian. And it feels, for me, like a perfect legendary if we wouldn't have all the other crazy over-the-top legendaries and stuff and skins in the game. It's so down to the ground. I really like it. I think the model, I'm a person that really likes some clean design. That's why I like this so much. For me personally, that is a perfect legendary. I really, really like this. Sadly, it does not fit in a lot of classes too well. For example, if you put that on a, I don't know. Yeah, there are not that many longbow users. DH fits really well. It's the DH weapon. Yeah, that's correct. Like Kutsu is for Ranger, this is for DH. I really like it. I would put it in S tier. I wouldn't put it in S plus tier just because it's a little bit boring. It's not too unique, you know. That would be for me a weapon. If I could dye it, that would be S plus tier. If I could dye this weapon, it would be insane. Yeah, because then you could make it fit for every single class. But just this white is a little bit too, yeah, changing it to only be Guardian and stuff. But I think you could make an argument for putting it in S plus tier. Just my take. It's just, I like it. I like very clean things. Yeah, so let's take a look at what's the next one. Sharua, I don't have this one. This one is horrible. This one is so bad. It has a night and a day scheme, but I think this is really bad. It is really, really bad. I think this is easy D tier for me, just because it's very bad. And if you get the thing coming out, I think it's just bad. Maybe it's even trash tier, just because it's not even a silly weapon and they made it such ugly that you can't really use it. I think it's low depth. I don't like it. There is a night and day effect, I agree, but they are both actually ugly. So that's the sad part here. I don't like them. I don't like them. I think that's why I would put it in trash tier. I know people might disagree with me here. That's just my take on it. Yeah. So what do we have as well? Shushadu. I don't think I have that. Yeah, I don't have the Shushadu one. I'm not a big fan of Shushadu. I think this is like a silly weapon. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it looks funny, but it's not that crazy. I think it's, for me, in RP tier, that's good. I think that's nice. I would put it in D tier. I think it's like HMS Divinity. It has some kind of nice effort put into it, but I personally would never use it as a weapon. I think you would never use that, in my opinion. I don't know. Just my take. So what else do we have here? I can't use those. I can use Shining Blade. Where's Shining Blade? There it is. I think Shining Blade is a very nice legendary from just how the blade looks. It's really nice. For me, the draw and how it glows and stuff is really amazing. I think for me, S+ tier, but I have to say I don't like the footsteps. I think the footsteps, if they would be cooler, that would actually be even better. I think the animation and stuff is really cool. I think just the effect of it is really good. I would say for me S+ tier, even though I have to say the footsteps not that good. But not everything has to be perfect, I guess. So yeah, Purple Gold Mesmer, the classic, that's true. And then we have, how is it called, Verderek or something? I almost did not remember it. Verderek. It's a Warhorn. Verderek. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So this one is really weird. It's just a horn, and if you wield it, it gets even bigger. It gets a really big horn. I think this is interesting. I think this is a very interesting weapon, and by design, I like the design of it. But personally, I would say I would not use it on many characters if I had it. That's why I don't have it, because it's not that crazy. I think for me, I would say an A tier weapon. It's decent. I think it's an A tier for me. I think it fits what it's a Warhorn is, but it's not. I would not go for it and say, holy shit, finally I have it and I use it on every single character that I can use it on. I'm not sure. It's just, it doesn't fit to a lot of fashions that I would put it on. I don't know. I think that's why I don't have it. It's too specific most of the time. Yeah. And then we have, lastly, that I can equip here, I have Hope. Hope, where is it? There it is. So, wait, I have to unequip this one. Hope is, from a weapon design perspective, perfectly a pistol, and it has really nice animations. For me, Hope is... I'm not a big pistol fan in Guild Wars 2, but I think this is a perfect pistol. I would not have any weapon that design that fits better for a pistol than this one. It's a perfect pistol. I don't know. S+ tier. And you can see where I'm going here. Nevermore, Astrolaria, Hope, S+ tier. Do you see the pattern? It's crazy. It fits perfect. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's perfect for Mechanist. It's just crazy. Yeah, just really good. So I will now go quickly over the Oreen variants before I swap to another character that can use the rest of the weapons. Just because the Oreen variants are, so to say, I don't know, they are just a recolor of the other ones. So I will quickly go over them. This is the Mace. I think the Mace is actually one of the better ones from the Oreen variants. I think the Oreen variants, in my opinion, it feels like an organic weapon, that's true, it feels not perfect, but I think the Oreen Mace is one of the best ones from them. It feels like a mace, at least, from the size and stuff and the shape. I think it's a little bit over the top with the design, so I'm not the biggest fan of those baseline Oreen skins, I have to admit. So I would put this one in let's see, where would I put it? Probably in B tier. No, I would put it in A tier, low A tier. No, B tier, B tier. It's B tier. It's too flashy. It doesn't fit too much. I don't like it too much. Let's stick with the other Oreen skins as well. So how are they called? Tail, it's called. So the tail. So the Seitan one is, for me, it has nice footsteps, but the effects themselves are, I don't know. It fits like on a really crazy berserker feeling, like you feel it's a kind of absolutely crazy, flashy demon thing. It feels like, I think it's a very good design. I think the Mortimer and the Seitan variants probably are the best designed ones, just because they are really cool from the design. They are really fitting. I don't think you can use them in a lot of characters, but I really like it. So for me, that's an A tier. So let's quickly go over the other ones as well. So this one, the Kralkatoric one, I don't think fits too well. I think it's a little bit too flashy, and for me, I'm not the biggest fan of this one. I think it's also B tier, yeah. For me, yeah. I think it's like the baseline skin, yeah. I think that it feels like, why is it only having 2 of, not 4 of those? I don't know. It feels a little bit weird. The Primordus one is I personally, that might be my first hot take, and again, sorry for the pun. I am not the biggest fan of the Primordus legendaries. I think they just have those fiery effect, and that's it. That's just for people that want to be a fire wizard and that kind of stuff. I think that feels not perfectly fitting all the time. I think they are really cool for people that like to have those fiery themes, but if you don't, it's just too much. It's over the top, in my opinion, you know? The trail effect is just some red trail. It doesn't feel like fire at all, in my opinion. And the footsteps are good, but typically you just burn your eyes with it. I'm not the biggest fan of it, you know? I think the Primordus Generation 3 weapons are actually, in my opinion, a little bit overrated. Yeah. I think it's too much fire, or too much reddish. It's too over the top. Too over the top, in my opinion. For me, that's why I would put it in C tier. Yeah. In high C tier for me. Yeah. Oh, they're so hard to see which one is the one. Yeah, I think that's the one. And then we have the So1 one. So the So1 one, it's also too much. It doesn't feel like water too much. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It feels like Primordus one, just in blue. I think it's okay, but it's also a little bit too much. I think it's not my favorite one. I would also put it in C tier, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to fit, actually. Those are really hard to judge sometimes. It's also, they have different shapes in the image, so it's also hard to fit. So we have left the Mortimer one. So the Mortimer one, I really like. I think the Mortimer one is really cool. I think the mace is actually not the best example, but I really like the Mortimer weapons. I think those are probably the best of the Generation 3 skins overall, the variants. I really like it. It's very good. It's very, very good. Yeah. But the mace is not the best one. I have to be honest. The mace is not the best. Oh, that's so hard. Is this the mace? I think this is the mace. For me, the mace, this is A tier. Yeah. It's good. It's good. I like it. And then we have last the Chomek one. So the Chomek one, I like the Chomek one. I think the Chomek legendaries are actually the best looking ones from the crazy particle effects. They are still over the top, but it's at least fitting as an ice scheme topic. I think it's fine. The mace actually is one of the better ones from the Chomek ones, because I think it's very fitting. It's a bit over the top, but I think it's, from the effects, it's better than the Primordus one and the So1 one. I think it's more icy, and it's also over the top, but that's why I would not put it in A tier, but B tier. Yeah. For me, at least. And I personally think it's better than the So1 one, for sure. Okay. Now we want quickly go over the other skins as well, because there are so many of them. So let's do it a little bit quicker. So how is it called? The next one, the sword one, Fang. So let's go for the Fangs. So the Oreen Fang, for me, is probably one of the best legendaries of the Oreen variant. I know it looks like a small toothpick. I know that. But personally, I think it is very cool that you can skin those in different colors, you know? So I personally like the Chomax Fang. I think this is really cool. I like the Quacatorix Fang for Mesmer. And I like the Primordus, the Mortimer one. I think this is also really fitting. I think the Primordus one is actually one of the best Primordus ones. It's still too much with the fire, but it's at least a little bit fitting on the weapon. I don't know. I think the Fang is one of the best Generation 3 weapons. Yeah, that's just my take. I know people still think it's too short. If it would be a bit longer or something, a bit thicker, that would be more like a sword, but I personally actually like it. Yeah. I think all of those are decent. Yeah, decent. Yeah, that's my opinion on that. I know people might hate me for that, but I like the Fangs. Okay, what do we have next? Hammer. Oh, the hammer. That's. I know this is. Ooh, it looks like a Great Axe. I think the hammer is weird. The hammer is really weird. I don't know. What do you think about the hammer? I personally think the hammer is a little bit over the top. It's too I don't know, too big of a head and too weird of the handle. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of the hammer, to be honest. I think it's decent. It's decent, but it's not crazy good. Yeah, I can't see all of it yet because I have to put it together. I don't know. I think the hammer is okay. I think all of the hammer variants are okay, but to me it's a little bit too big. It's too big of the watery one. I don't like. I don't like the watery one. I still stick with it. I think all the Oreen. They are positioned in the same. Okay, that's good. Good to know then. Yeah, that's good. Then I can always start with the pistol. Very good. Good point there. I don't like the hammer. Too much. I think the hammer is okay, but I don't like it too much. I'm not the biggest hammer fan. And especially the So1 hammer. I think all the So1 variants actually I would put in. I actually have to be honest. That's what I want to do now. I think the So1 variants I don't like. I think the So1 variants are not good. There is probably not a single So1 variant that I would put higher than C tier. I think except maybe the staff. All the other ones I don't like. So just check where is the staff actually. Which one is the staff? This is the staff. The staff I actually like. Let's quickly go there before I forget. The staff I actually like. I think the staff is the only one where it fits a little bit. Yeah, where I would say this is decent. Yeah, it's decently fitting. Yeah, I think there you can say as an elementalist, as a guardian, it is somewhat decent. I think that's the only time where I would say this watery weapon style fits a little bit more. So that's why I would put only the staff in B tier. Yeah, all the other ones I would put in C tier, and I don't like it. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. Okay, let's stick to the hammer. I think the hammers are okay. They are not crazy good. I think they are, for me, B tier. I'm not the biggest hammer enjoyer when it comes to that, but for me they are B tier. They are quite similar. B. Yeah, B. I don't like the Primordus one, so that's why it's in C tier. I think it's too much over the top. And then the Saitan one is also B. Okay, now let's do it like Snowdrop mentioned. I will always go with the first one, which is always the pistol in that sense. So let's check it out. How is it called? Pistol. How is it called, the pistol? Argument. So the argument, the pistol, I don't know. I think it looks a little bit weird. Look, why does it have this hole in it? I think that's too much. I don't know. For me, it reminds me of some kind of fish that I'm holding. I don't know why, but it looks like a fish. I'm not a biggest fan of it. I have to be honest. I think the shape is too weird. It's too small. It's not a pistol for me. I think it's not that good. I think the best one is probably, yeah, Hopes Exists. I don't know. I think they are not that crazy good. I have to say. I think they are all not really. I would not equip them, to be honest. I don't know. For me, all of them are C tier. I don't see it too highly, to be honest. No, I don't have anything against fish. Don't let me. Let's clarify that. But I'm just saying, I think it's not like, I wouldn't imagine a pistol like that. So I don't want to have a pistol that looks like that. I think they want to have a magical pistol, but I think that's not fitting. I think a pistol is something kind of a mechanical device. You would not have some kind of magic built into it. So I'm not a biggest fan of it. I think the design is just not me. I'm not against any fish, don't get me wrong there. That's why I put actually Kritekin so high, because there are fish in there, because I think that's really fitting for some kind of fish legendary. Okay, what do we have next? How is it called? I don't even know what it is. Which one is it? That's a greatsword, is it not? I think it's the greatsword. Yeah, there we go. It's the greatsword. The greatsword, I think this is the worst greatsword legendary that we have. That much is for sure. I think it's okay when it comes to how it's looking. From the shape and stuff, I think it's okay. No, I'm not a fish hater. Please don't say that. That's not true. That's not true. Just saying that I don't want to have a fish as a pistol. I think that's not fitting. This weapon, I think, is okay. I don't like the variants, to be honest. I think the variants are too much. They are over the top. I don't really like the greatsword too much. I have to be honest. I think the shape is weird. I think the variants are too much over the top. A lot of people run around with the Primordus one. I think that's just over the top. I think it's not fitting too much. It's too, I don't know. It feels like it's some kind of lance, some kind of the knight back in the Middle Ages, and you want to run around on a horse and have a lance on it. That's how it looks, to be honest. I don't like it. It's not a greatsword to me. I don't know. Yeah. Exactly that. It looks like a lance. I don't know. It's not just me then. So for me, C tier. I don't like it too much. All of them, actually. Okay, what is this one? Eternity is here. Sorry. I will show the whole tier list when I'm done. I just have to scroll a bit, because if I make it even smaller, I can't even see it anymore. That's the sad part. So, what do we have next? I think that's the torch. How is the torch called? Breath. So there we go. So the breath, I think, is also way too big for a torch. I think this is just too big. That's the general theme of all those legendaries, I think. They are so big, except when they are too small, like the Fang. The Fang is the only small one, but the other ones are way too big. Look at that. That's like a meter big torch or something, if you look at the character, It's like almost half of their body. It's crazy. Yeah. It's too much to me. I think they are, I don't know. It's just my take. I don't like the torches. I think the torches are, I don't know, not that fitting. I think I don't like them. The effects are good, but the size is too much. I think that they have this ball there. That's nice. I like it. That feels like a really torchy style. But I think it's again C tier for me. I think the size brings it down to C tier. If it would just be smaller, I would actually put it in B tier. But it's too big for me. Yeah, it's too big. This makes it like, why would you equip something like that? It's completely covering your whole screen. Okay, then we have the dagger. How is the dagger one called? Let me check. I always forget how they are called. Claw. Okay. So the claw one, I actually like the dagger. I think the dagger is one of the only legendaries where I would say the shape is actually decent. It's too big for a dagger. This feels more like a sword to me, you know? But I think the dagger shape is nice. The dagger shape is nice. I think the variants are okay, but I think the daggers are good. I like the daggers. I think the daggers are one of the better ones, for sure. I would say the daggers, even the fiery one, is for me, is A tier. I think it's A tier. I think all those are A tier. They are the first ones where I would say I would actually use all of them on the specific characters, to be honest. I think they have some kind of feel to it that it makes sense to use them. Yeah, for me they are A tier. Yeah. Okay, then what is this the short bow or the long bow? Let's check. This is the short bow. Then we have to use the long bow. So the long bow is called Flight. So this one I think is actually very decent. I like the long bow. I think the long bow is nice. I like the long bow. I think it's one of the ones where I would say the size is actually fitting. I think a long bow has to be big. Yeah. I like all of them actually. I think especially the Mortimer one. I think the Mortimer one is probably the best. I think this one is actually probably for me an S tier. I actually like the Mortimer one. I would put it in S tier. The fire one, I think the fire effects are just over the top. I'm not the biggest fan of the Promoters one. I said that before. Mortimer's is S tier. Water one is, I don't like. Mortimer, this one is A tier. I don't like it. The other ones I would say A tier. Yeah. I like the Mortimer one because the Mortimer one feels like an Kutsu that I could use on every single class because it feels like more serious. Yeah. I like it. I think for me, all of them A tier, with the exception of Mortimer being S tier, because it's really, really good. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, that's just where I would put it personally. Yeah. Okay, what do we have next? What is this? I really did. How they look is so hard to differentiate. Which one is this? Ah, that's the focus. Okay, that's the focus. How is it called? Gaze. So the focus is also, again, it's so big. It covers the whole arm. What is this? It's way too big. And it doesn't really look like a focus. It looks more like a half of a shield or something. I like it from the design, but it looks like a small shield, exactly. I think from a design perspective, it's a different focus. I think how would a focus normally look? I don't know. That's why I think it's actually good. I like it. It's just too big, I think. It feels like you use it as a magical thing, but it feels like a shield. I'm not sure. It feels a little bit weird. Primaris and so on, I would put lower than the others, but the others are actually decent. I would put them in A tier. Yeah. A tier and the other ones in B tier. The Primordus one and so one, yeah. Where is it? I don't know which one it is. So it's fine. It's C tier. Yeah, I think this one looks actually really cool. That would be something like double unarmed weapon or something, like you just hit you with your bare hands and your fists. That looks like a really cool weapon for that. I don't know. Looks really cool. You could make some disgusting looking, I don't know, double focus wielding warrior or something. It's really interesting, or necromancer even. That's really cool. I agree. Yeah. What do we have next? Is that the staff? I think that's the staff. How is the staff called? Wisdom. No, insight. There we go. The staff one I actually like. Glad you like it, Agent Scorpio. Glad you like it. So the staff I actually like. I think the staff is decent. It looks like a staff. I think it feels like a staff. I think the variants are fitting. Yeah, I think it's overall a very good weapon. I think the staff is for me A tier. I think the staffs are nice. Overall, very good. I think the staff is probably the best looking in the base variant. I think the best looking base variant is probably the staff. I have to be honest. It feels like it looks like a very worthwhile thing. Yeah. So I would put them all in A tier for now. There we go. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's actually true. The staff looks a little bit worse than the Bifrost. It's true. But I would say it's still for me an A tier. I think if you don't like the Bifrost because it's such a, it feels very thin and it could break. But the Oreen one looks a little bit thicker and a little bit more like, okay, you can actually use it as a weapon as well. So I think for me, it's okay. I think A tier makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Always those jokes. I know. I'm just ignoring them for now. Okay. Then what do we have next? It's the pistol. No, it's not the pistol. It's the rival this time. How is it? Persuasion. I think this one is actually nice. I like this. I think it's looks like a decent rival. It's I don't know. It's fitting. I like the rivals actually. In contrast to the pistols, it feels like they are decently from the size in this thing. But I think it's still over the top with the effects and stuff. So look at those weapons. They have way too much of those effects going on. I think the rival is nice. It feels like magical rival, which I'm still not the biggest fan of, but I think it's very well done in contrast to the pistol. So I would put it in A tier because of that. Yeah. I put a lot of them in A tier, I noticed, but that's just how I feel like, For me, it's A tier. I don't know. Feels like A tier. Oreen is from Texas. I don't know. Maybe. Would make sense why that's persuasion then. Yeah, exactly. Okay, next is the X, I think. No, not here. How is it called? How is it called? Rending. Okay, rending. So I don't like the X's. I think the X's look really weird. I don't like it. I think those they look really weird. I think they are too small. They just have this weird blade here. Other than that, it looks really weird. I'm not a biggest fan of it actually. I think they are too small of a thing. I think they are okay, but they are not great. Yeah. I would put them in I think I would put them in B tier. I'm not the biggest fan of them. I think they are too. I would rather use Frostfang or Astralaria. I think I never have a big reason to use them. I think they are not too interesting. I don't know. I don't like them. I think the model is not too great. I'm not the biggest fan. I can see why you put it higher or lower. I think there are arguments for both. I just personally don't like them too much. Just from a design. Okay, then we have the scale, which is the shield. The shield, where is it? Is for me the opposite. I think the shield is too over the top. I think the design of it is too over the top. I think it's this weird thing that comes out of it. I don't like it. Looks like a doorknob. I'm not a. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like them. I don't like the shield too much. I think the shield is. I'm sure. I don't know. I think they are too crazy. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't like the shield. I don't like the shield. For me, the shield is C tier. I think it's too weird of a shape. I don't like it. Yeah, you could make an argument for putting it in B tier because it's a nice size. It's really a big shield that you can hide behind. But I think it's too much of stuff going on that is on top of the shield. It feels like it's unnecessary. I don't know. It's just my take. Okay, then we have the Warhorn. We're almost through with the legendary Orion ones. That's good. How is this one called? Voice. Okay. So the voice is, again, very big. It feels like very magical. Is it good? Is it good? That's the question. It's medium. I think it's not horrible, but it's also not that good. The baseline design, it's just a Warhorn. Nothing too crazy. I don't know. I think it's okay. It's okay. For me, it's B tier. It's okay. It's not too special, you know? It's better than a lot of other things, but it's not that good either. So for me, it's B tier, low B tier. I could make an argument for putting it in the C tier. For example, the watery one. I don't like the watery one. That's why it's in C tier. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know. I think they are just too much over the top. A lot of them are over the top, but this is definitely the skins. I don't know. The Gen 3s, I just went for them because all of them actually a nice collection. Most of them I actually don't like too much. Yeah. So how is this one called? Wing. Okay. I like the bows. I think the bows are good. I think the Orion bows are probably overall the best ones because they fit. They are like a bow. They look good. I think for me they are A tier. I think they, except the water one. The water one doesn't fit anyone. But this one is, I think I like him. I think the A tier fits them very well. So that's where I put them. And then last but not least, we have the Scepter variant, I think. Yeah, I think it's Scepter. How is it called? Always forget how they are all called. Scepter. Wisdom. This is the Wisdom. Okay. So the Wisdom, I don't know. What do you think about it? I think it's very flashy. It feels like some kind of just a stick and then a big effect on top of it. I am not sure if I would put it very highly. I think it's not that good. It's too big for a Scepter. Again, it feels like the torch. If you wield that Scepter torch with Orion variants, feels like you hide behind your weapons. It's crazy. I don't like it. It looks like a branch. Yes, exactly. I'm not the biggest fan. I think those are for me C tier again. I'm not. It's too much. As most of the Generation 3s, they are just too much. Okay, and then lastly we go to a character where I can use the magical weapons. So there we go. I'm back, and this time I'm on the Thief. Give me a second, and I can actually showcase the Orion weapons here as well, because Thief actually has access to Scepter and Shotbow. Shotbow, in my opinion, Chuka and Champerwat. For me, perfect legendary. The journey is amazing. The draw effects are really cool. The weapon itself is really cool. It's perfectly fitting. It's not over the top with effects. It has effects. It's perfect legendary. I think it's so good. I think it's really good. I think those 4 legendaries are, for me, S+ tier. Just having this journey, having something that looks very good at the end of the journey, and some kind of thing that you want to equip because it feels like a really good weapon. I think these are the best weapons they ever designed for legendaries overall, because the package is perfect, you know? Just saying, you know? I don't know. It's niche, I agree, but it's very fitting. It's a weapon design that it's very fitting, you know? Okay, so what else do we have here? We have the Scepter. Where is it? GW2. So this one is interesting. So I think I like this one. You have this floating thing with you. And the weapon itself is okay. I think it's not too crazy. I mean, it's fitting the thing for the Aztec style. I think that's really nice. I think it is one of the best legendaries if you like this floating thing. And it has nice decent footsteps that are not too crazy over the top. The draw effect is nice. And I think for me it's S+ tier because I like the floating thing. If you don't like the floating thing, I would say it's A tier because it's not too crazy then. But I like the thing. It's a big. I agree. That's again a criticism with the scepter. So maybe it's just S tier because of that, because it's so big. It's actually not feeling like a scepter anymore. But I would say S tier is probably the best. It's fair. Yeah, it's too good. It's too big for that. Yeah, for sure. And then we have Metrologicos. Give me a second. Where is it? There. I think Metrologicos is such a classic, but I personally think it's also, again, not feeling like a weapon. I think it's again feeling like some kind of model, some kind of weird thing. So it has nice footsteps, it has a nice design, but personally I think it doesn't feel like a weapon. Yeah, I think for me it's an A tier weapon. I think I like it, but I personally think it is very niche. You can't use that on a thief. I think that fits really badly. On an elementalist, it fits really well. But other than that, I think if you have something that is not really, I don't know. I think it's magical, but I'm personally not the biggest fan. For me, it's an A tier. Yeah. I don't know. It's just very classic, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it's a nice weapon, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. And then we have the Minstrel. I don't need to go for different character here. I just show it here. I have it, but the Minstrel, again, a choke legendary of some kind, but you get the novelty with it. I think the novelty is actually decent if you like to play music. I think the Minstrel is like a choke legendary. I'm not too big of a fan as using it as a real weapon. I think it's a D tier for me. I think it's a roleplay weapon. It's not you can play a bard with it, for example, roleplay as a bard. But other than that, if you, for example, play Bifrost and it fits really well as for Mesmer, maybe something like that. It feels like a legendary to some extent, but it feels like for a class that doesn't exist. So I don't know. I'm not the best friend with this one. But I think it's definitely not trashed here. I think it's okay. Yeah. And last but not least, we actually got Clo-Bjorn, which is the new spear. I will not showcase every single skin of it because I think they are very similar, to be honest. I think they don't look too different. You can make an argument that some of them fit better, for example, for something magical and stuff. But I personally think they are very similar. They are not that crazy. This looks more like a polearm or something. But all the others are very... I think that they made 6 variants is nice, but they could have been a little bit more different. I think they are way too close to each other. I would say, for me, they are very nice. I personally am a big fan of having weapons that are not too flashy, that they are down to the crowd. I think that we get it for free doesn't makes it better, of course, but I think it's S tier for me. I think the spear design itself is not that legendary to me. It could be a gem store skin as well. That you have effects with it is really nice. I think this floating thing at the back is a little bit annoying. I don't like it too much. But I like the footsteps. It's not too over the top with the effects. I like this ghostly kind of vibe. And I like the draw effects. I think that's fitting. But I don't like this floaty stuff behind me. I think that's I don't know. I think, personally, it's a good weapon. I think it's, for me, if they continue with legendaries like that, I'm happy. Yeah. I think for me, S tier. It's not S+ tier, because if you look at the weapons in S+ tier, they are just better for me. I like them more. I have to be honest. I like them more. I can see why you would put it in S+ tier. I can see that. But I personally think it's too... I think the S+ tier weapons are just not one step above. Yeah. I don't know. I think the hardest decisions for me are Pharos and this Clo-Bjorn, because both of them I could make an argument to put in S+ tier. But they are a little bit too much to the ground to say, okay, this is, if it compares to Eternity or if it compares to Astolaria, they are not that good. But this is a personal tier list. That's really important to say. This is my taste. So I can be completely off here when it comes to your taste. So please let me know your takes as well. I hope you enjoyed this quick tier list. If you did, be sure to leave a like. And if you're a tier list enjoyer such as me, don't forget to subscribe for more tier lists and more Guild Wars 2 content in the future. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon. Thanks Lane. Thanks Malice. And I hope to see you all in the next video.